Hello, gorgeous babe. I am back today, and oh my god, I miss you guys. I don't know why, since I haven't been live streaming as much due to my schedule currently. I really miss you guys. I miss interacting with you. So, I wanted to make a video today that's a message that's been on my heart for a while. Actually, it's the foundation of my YouTube channel and why I started it, but I think I don't talk about this enough, and I'll share why. So, many years ago, I shared with a very close family member the reason why I felt like it was our responsibility as women to be happy in life, to make sure that we get to have the desires of our heart, right? Like that we get to live a good life. And the reasoning that I gave her triggered her in a very massive way. And of course, I felt very bad for triggering her in such a big way at the time. This was many years ago. And because of that, I think I like put away that reason and I never shared it with anyone again. I have analyzed it over the years thinking, was I being insensitive? What was my belief wrong? Was it, something that would be triggering to people? And having analyzed this for the last 6 7 years, I thought it over many times. I'm here to tell you that I still stand by my original statement, and it is one of my core beliefs. It is one of my personal values, and I really wanted to share it with you today. So the conversation was that I believe, this is my belief, my personal belief, that I owe it to my ancestors to live my best life. That their sacrifices, the sacrifices that they made, are only worth it. Like their love, their legacy, their sacrifices, all the hardship they put in living their life, making, holding back their desires, making the sacrifices, the things we've been doing for many generations, right? Are only worth it if someone comes along and like breaks that cycle, right? So for example, let's say that this is actually true. You guys know my entire channel is dedicated to my mother. My mother was the kind of woman that would like light herself on fire to keep other people warm, even if they didn't appreciate it, right? So she sacrificed her life for the future generation, okay? Then let's say I come along and I sacrifice my life for the future generation. And then my daughter sees that and like she, God forbid, sacrifices her life for the good of the future generation. Well, I don't know. Do you kind of see the false premise here? Like, do you see the messed upness of that whole argument? Well, who are we sacrificing ourselves for if everyone's just gonna be miserable and like sacrifice themselves anyways? Like, if I'm gonna sacrifice myself for someone, they best live their best life ever. Like, I want to make sure, like, I want it in writing that they are going to make it worth my while, right? So I get to be that person that breaks that generational curse and makes it worth their while. Like all the previous ancestors of mine, all of them. I bet they're sitting there somewhere up in the heavens saying, thank you, Mina, for living your best life so that all of our sacrifices were worth it. And so that's pretty much the conversation that I was having, right? And I want to say this to you, that if you are someone that was raised in a household where your parents were sacrificing themselves to raise you, you know how it feels to grow up feeling like a burden. Like because of you, they can't live their best life, right? Why on earth would we want to continue passing that down? And even if you don't have children or are not planning on having children, like I've talked about this before, that every woman's overflow, every woman's best life is inspiration for another woman, right? I have met many women in my life that were living their best life, which made me go, hey, I want that too. I love how she's unapologetically owning her desires and living her best life. So I'm not their children, but they inspired me in some way, right? So it is in service to humanity that you cut out all the nonsense, all the sacrificing behavior, all the burdensome behavior, all the, oh God, like I'm just gonna have to like sacrifice myself for other people, and like make it worth your ancestors' while, so that all the sacrifices that people did make in the past are finally worth it, right? I get to be that one. You get to be that one. We get to be the one that like finally breaks that generational curse and like moves this kind of out of our genetic history, the whole like sacrificing thing, right? So my mother did that. I saw her doing that, and she told us not to do it. But like when you see other people doing it, like that's what you think you're supposed to model. So I grew up getting these mixed messages, right? Like on the one hand, you're seeing this, and on the other hand, like when she was dying from cancer, she would say, always take care of yourself. So I sat down and really thought this through. And my game plan is in my life that I am going to make it worth all of my ancestors' while, like all of their sacrifices are going to be worth it, because I am going to break all of these generational curses and honestly make decisions that not only my ancestors can be proud of, but my descendants can be proud of too. You guys know this is like my jam, right? Like DNA, epigenetics, anthropology, this is my jam. And so that's what I want to do for the future generations. My children get to see me thriving and flourishing, and that's the only example that they will have of how you're supposed to live. You're supposed to thrive. You are supposed to flourish in life. You are not supposed to make decisions that block you, trap you, take away your freedom. Like, it's not worth it to me, right? Like, I'm not going to do that to my ancestors, and I'm definitely not going to do that to my descendants. So because my mom did that, my way of letting her legacy still continue on is sharing this message and sharing my work with you, okay? Because that's how my mother gets to live forward. That's how her legacy gets to live forward, through me, through my children, and through me sharing her message so that you can live your best life. So all the content that I share here on my channel, right, whether it's about relationships or money or inner work or your health, anything, the whole point of any of that stuff is not to get stuck in dogma that, Mina said we had to do it this way, or we're supposed to do it that way. No, this is the rule. Here's the only rule in existence, okay? You guys know I don't believe in arbitrary rules or dogmas, but here's the only rule. The only rule is, come in a little bit closer so I can really say this to you, okay? The only rule is that you get to live your best life, okay? In case you didn't hear, I'm gonna repeat it. You get to live your best life. You owe this to your ancestors, and you owe it to everyone else, because we need more people on this planet doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. Now, you might be wondering, well, what am I supposed to be doing? So I believe, and you guys know I'm a student and teacher of human design as well, and that's why I love human design. If you haven't done your human design, you probably should get it done. Pull your chart at least. It's freaking awesome. I will link one of the sites that you can use in the first comment. And I already intuitively knew this and believed this, but when I found human design, it was just like, oh my God, yes, this is it. In human design, they talk about that we are all born with our own unique energetic blueprint. We have certain encodings. Our soul has certain destinies, you can say, that it wants to live out here, okay? So it has a purpose for being here. But that purpose is not the same for everyone, okay? So my energetic blueprint led me right here on this platform to share this message, okay? Your energetic blueprint might take you to create art or music or write books or be a great parent or travel the world, right? Whatever your energetic blueprint is, it wants to express itself in its divinity, in its uniqueness, through doing the thing that it's meant to do. A lot of times, the thing that it's meant to do may not make sense to other people. It may not even make sense to you, okay? Because if you told me 10 years ago that I would be doing this, it wouldn't have made sense to me at that time, right? So it's not supposed to make sense. It's not logical. It's not rational. It is just how your soul wants to express itself, okay? So you are literally source experiencing itself through you. And so if you come over here and you squash your desires and you sacrifice yourself for other people and live your life according to your parents' plan or your neighbor's plan or your religion's plan or whatever the thing that you feel trapped in is, well, your energetic blueprint will never get to live out the thing that it's meant to do. And it's going to start sending you messages first. And first, they're just going to be gentle nudges of like, something doesn't feel right, I'm a little uncomfortable, I feel off. And then they're just going to keep getting louder and louder and louder until you take notice, right? And I don't know what that louder is for you. For me, the louder was just unhappiness in my life. Autoimmune issues showed up in my life, right? And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying, what causes disease or anything like that. But I know in my life that when I found myself and I did my inner work and I started following my soul's nudges, like my energetic blueprint, all of a sudden, I no longer have those autoimmune issues. I no longer have anxiety and panic attacks and all the issues that were showing up and supposedly were like outside things. They were all inside things where my soul was just trying to desperately get my attention. Okay, so everything that I share over here, regarding any topic it is, right, any niche you can say, the whole foundation of everything is that you get to live your best life. And don't take anyone else's template or anyone else's as advice as like, oh my god, this is the gospel and this is the only way it can be, because the only advice I can really give you is to follow your own energetic blueprint, right? We are having this experience here in the 2D, 3D realm, but we also are spiritual beings and we have access to other information. And that information is always presenting itself to us, but it's very subtle. And the reason it's subtle for most of us is because we're living in fight or flight. So the fight or flight part is louder. When you can relax yourself through inner work and let go of a lot of that fight or flight programming and conditioning, what will happen is that the soul part, the subtle nudges, the heart's desires, all of that will get louder because you'll turn down the volume on what the brain is chatting, right? Think of it this way. The soul can't live out its energetic blueprint if you're being eaten by a lion. So that part of you has been made louder because it's supposed to keep you safe. But if you always listen to your brain, always listen to the mind chatter, you're never going to be able to follow those gentle nudges that are coming within you that help you align with what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so the point of all of this information, every single thing I share over here, is that you get to live your best life. In fact, I want you to go in the comments right now and write it out. I get to live my best life. I owe it to my ancestors to live my best life. I owe it to my future descendants to live my best life. I owe it to all of humanity to live my best life. And your best life is encoded in your very unique energetic blueprint. Your soul knows the way. So you can't follow your brain there. You can't logic your way there. You can't analyze and figure it out there, but you can listen to your desires and your heart and those gentle nudges that take you in that direction. Okay, I love you. That's my message for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.